Good morning. Hello, my name is Rod Brown. I am really excited about today because we're starting a new series, and this leadership series is for the entrepreneur, which is what I am to the core. So I'm really excited about this because I'm talking to my people. I'm talking to the people that make the world go round, the entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, entrepreneurs, small business, support our U.S. economy, and leadership for entrepreneurs, leadership in small business is critical. So I'm really, really excited. I've been working really hard on making sure that this series is going to be tight for you guys. So let's get started. The call is sponsored by ShareNote.com, which is an electronic health record system for the behavioral healthcare industry. So if you get a chance, go check out ShareNote.com. If you have questions, we're going to blow Twitter up with those questions that you may have. So tweet your questions to Roderick L. Brown. That's RODERICKLBROWN using the hashtag LeaderLose. So again, I'm excited because I'm talking to my folks, the entrepreneurs, they, them, the men and women in black, the people that prop up our economy. Leadership is very important to entrepreneurs, and there's a myth out there because, as an entrepreneur, the myth is that entrepreneurs are automatically great leaders, and it's really a myth. Entrepreneurs, we have the ability to see opportunities that other people just don't see, but that doesn't mean we're great leaders. So we're going to focus on making sure that we, as entrepreneurs, we're really good leaders. I knew exactly where I was going to go with this series at the very beginning until a couple of days ago, and I actually heard a message a couple of days ago that just made me refocus and change the course of this leadership series specifically for entrepreneurs. And what I realize is the most important person that we as entrepreneurs have to lead is ourselves. And then I was thinking about, what areas of ourselves personally do we need to make sure we lead before we even consider being an effective leader of people in our organizations, people in our companies, people that are a part of the different businesses that we as entrepreneurs start. And those three areas are the mind, the body, and the spirit. Okay, and so we're going to focus right now on the mind. And I told my team I didn't want any preconceived titles for this series because I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know how long it's going to go. I just know I'm very passionate about entrepreneurs and helping entrepreneurs. So I want to make sure that we cover as much as we can and take as long as it needs to take because, again, entrepreneurship is near and dear to my heart because, again, I'm an entrepreneur. So a lot of this stuff I'll actually be teaching myself as well. So when it comes to our minds, the first thing that I think about is the thoughts that we have. And if we all could do a data dump of our thoughts, I wonder what that data dump would reveal. Would it reveal positive thoughts in the majority, or would it reveal negative thoughts in the majority? Because, our thoughts will do one or two things. Our thoughts will hinder us, or our thoughts as a leader will help us. Because today we're pretty much living our thoughts of yesterday. Today we're living our thoughts of yesterday. So the things that you thought about and the things that, you created in your mind and the things that you believed yesterday, we're living those things out today. And I don't mean literally yesterday, but at some point in the past, you are now a result of your past thoughts. So the way we think is critical. The way we think is crucial. So I want to spend some time focusing on our thoughts as a leader, our thoughts as someone who is responsible for plotting a course for the people in our organizations, the people that look up to us, the people that that follow us, and ultimately the businesses themselves, because they turn into their own living, breathing organism. So eventually, we have to have the right thought life to lead and to create more things, because your thoughts actually are a part of creation. Yeah, so if you think on negative things, ultimately you're going to create negative things. You're going to create, negative actions, because nothing, absolutely nothing exists without it being thought about at some point in time. Everything began with a thought. Alexander Graham Bell, he was sitting around one day and he said to himself, I think I want to talk to somebody who's not here. I want to talk to somebody who's not right, in my present space. I want to talk to someone that I can't just yell to. I want to talk to someone a long way away from me. So, the creation of the telephone, it began with a thought. The creation of, whatever you're sitting on right now, it began with a thought. The creation of the device that you're using to listen to this call on, began with a thought. Everything started with a thought. So I know that our thoughts as leaders and as entrepreneurs are critical. I learned over the weekend that, a lot of us say, and we've been told, and we've told people, you have a bad memory, right? And what I found out in looking at my own life is that, a lot of times it's not that I have a bad memory. It's just that I remember the wrong things. I remember the things that will hinder me. I remember my defeats. I remember, negative things, especially when I'm trying to do or trying to go down a path of doing something big, of doing something great. And I let negative thoughts creep in as a result of negative experiences. So I'm remembering the wrong things. So one of the things I want to suggest to you is that you start remembering the right things. Start spending time thinking about or remembering the wins in your life and how you felt when you won and the steps you took to win and the hurdles you had to overcome to win. During those times where success was evident, during the times where you had to fight for success, I want you to start remembering those things and replace the negative memories that produce negative results. Replace those memories with the memories of you winning. Because I'm sure we all have some good memories, and we have to focus on those good memories. And this is how I want you to do that. I want you to tell yourself or tell your mind what it needs to hear. Period. Tell your mind what it needs to hear and what it needs to believe. And I want you to do that out loud. Some years ago when I was in a sales position and I wanted to be the best salesperson in the organization. So what I did, I went out and I bought this training series that, and I'm about to date myself, there were cassette tapes, and there were 12 cassette tapes. And I would put these cassette tapes on the front seat of my car at the time, and I would just cycle through those 12 tapes constantly over and over and over and over again. Didn't listen to the radio, put in the tape. When it was over, took it out, popped in the next tape. On one of those tapes, and it was a series, it was called The Psychology of Sales, and it's by a guy named Brian Tracy. And one of the things Brian suggested that I do, which sounded pretty ridiculous at the time, was 20 minutes prior to going and meeting with a prospect and going on a sales call, to sit in my car or get somewhere by myself and just talk to myself out loud and say things like, "You're great. You're awesome. You're a great salesperson. You're the best salesperson. They're going to love me. I'm going to be confident. You're wonderful. Your presentation will be flawless. You're a great salesperson. You're the best salesperson. You're a great salesperson." And just say this over and over and over and over again out loud. And by the time I got out of my vehicle and walked into that office, oh my goodness, I was on cloud nine. In my mind, I was the best. And why was that? Because I had just made myself, or I convinced myself, that I was a great salesperson. I was an incredible salesperson. And any other adjective I needed to say to myself to get myself pumped up. And that's what you need to do. You need to speak to yourself. You need to tell yourself that you are awesome, that you are great. You need to tell yourself those positive things about who you are, right? And what that will do is that will push out those negative thoughts of who you are, or what somebody told you you were, or a bad experience that produced a bad result that you constantly remember. So if you need to talk to yourself all day, especially if your thought life is negative. Because, again, as a leader and as an entrepreneur, you're going to have so many people counting on you to be great, to be strong, to be whatever it is that you need to be. And our mind is really it's really interesting. It will believe what we tell it. You know, you ever been around someone who was negative, and they constantly said what you were or what you were not? And then for a second you say to yourself, am I that? Or, so, it may have created a pause for you. So tell yourself how wonderful you are. Tell yourself what your mind needs to believe. The next thing is you need to walk like you're walking out your dream. You need to walk like you're walking out your vision for your organization, for those people that are following you. So when they see you, they don't see you downtrodden. You need to walk with your head up. You need to walk strong. You need to walk positive. You need to walk around with a smile on your face in spite of what's going on. So now I'm feeding myself positive thoughts. And then now I'm going to walk around like my vision is coming to pass, or like my vision has already come to pass. That's how I'm going to walk around. I'm going to walk around, we'll say in the invisible, right? Until all of my dreams, my goals, my visions, what I need to happen this week, until that appears, I'm going to walk around like it's already appeared, right? So now my actions are following my thoughts. So I'm going to walk around like my dream has already happened. And then I'm going to talk like it. It's nothing like being around someone who is a negative person, and you know they're a negative person because of the words that come out of their mouth. You are going to start talking like you have that multi-million-dollar business. You're going to start talking like you have the greatest staff, the best staff, the best leaders within your organization. And again, the things that we're talking about here are things specifically for the entrepreneur that's a leader in their organization, that's building companies, that's growing organizations, that's building businesses, because you will be the person that has to chart the course. So you're going to talk like you're already living in your dream. You're going to talk like you're a multi-million-dollar company. Why not? Right? Because you're going to hear those things. The people that are around you are going to hear those things. Your business partner is going to hear those things. And you're creating a positive environment that will create positive thoughts that will ultimately get you to where you need to be. Because, again, today, you're a result of your thoughts of yesterday. So now we got to make sure that we're feeding the universe some positive thoughts. Three ways to do this. Okay, number one, you have to concentrate. You have to concentrate. You have to focus, right? You have to be a laser light, not a flashlight. Both are light, but that laser light is focused light, and it can cut through steel. Flashlight will help you in a dark room, but it won't cut through steel. I need you to be able to cut through steel. So you're going to concentrate. You're going to make having positive thoughts a part of your daily concentration, right? So you're going to focus on doing this, and then you're going to transform. You're going to start to transform. And you're going to look for transformation signs, right? In order for you to transform, you have to be consistent, and you have to start feeding your thoughts or feeding your mind positive things. So if you have negative people in your life, and we call them frogs, they sit around, they just go ribbit, 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 say the same on. We got to figure out a way to ease those folks out of our psyche, out of our lives. Okay, so you're going to begin to transform, and then more than anything, you're going to be intentional. So you're going to wake up with the intention of having positive thoughts saying positive things, walking around upright like you're a positive person, like you're already living out your vision. You're going to walk around talking about the good things that are happening in your organization. And even in a negative situation, what appears to be a negative situation, you're going to put a positive spin on. You're going to find that silver lining, and that's what you're going to talk about. That's what you're going to focus on, because we as leaders and as entrepreneurs, we have to have positive thoughts leading and guiding us. Because we know that if we think negatively today, at some point in the future, those negative thoughts that we constantly have in our minds, they're going to play out in the natural. They're going to play out at some point in the future, and those negative thoughts are going to come to life. And we don't want that to happen, because we probably already experienced that. Okay? Man, time flies when you're having fun. This series is for entrepreneurs, specifically for you guys. I'm one of you, so best believe we're going to bring it on this series. Thank you so much for listening. Again, we're sponsored by ShareNote.com. Check out ShareNote.com. It's an electronic health record system for the behavioral health care industry. Thank you again. I send you blessings. Have an awesome day.